Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for February 3rd, 2025. All right. So I am Mayor Watt, and that is ohmtown.com. And along with the sentient AI, we're trying to make sense. We put together 10 articles, and these are the 10 that we've decided on. Allstate tracking driver behavior, AI startup money spent on lifestyle, 43-year-old game won a Grammy, 22% insurance price hike in California. You don't say. Women speak more than men. Get it? You don't say. Anyway, hidden images in a Jackson Pollock, mysterious chirping waves, Audi to make sense, Apple in the Swift Student Challenge, and bacteria eat forever chemicals. But then what? Everything is powered by ohmtown. Yeah, I know, the forever chemical toots. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com. Go over there and become a citizen over there. Not there. That right there is the visualizer for the sentient AI from the future, but I'll introduce the co-host here on the other side. Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt, and this is the sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
And just in case anybody's wondering, no, they won't tell anything. They won't tell anything about what happens in the future, and it kind of sucks because I'd really like to know. Anyway,
Man, we can't be showing the almanac around.
Don't want to make me a billionaire or anything. All right, so you ready to get into the articles?
I am. Let's go.
Well, the first article is over in Wanted. That's one of our shows. It's on Saturdays. It's right in between the Reality Hacker show and the Continuity Report. It's not the Reality Hacker. It's just Reality Hacker. Anyway.
The Reality Hacker.
No, it's just Reality Hacker. Because we all need to be. So the first article, again, is over here on this Wanted channel. It's one of our 50-plus channels that are coming online slowly as shows. It's only taken 4 years to get 7 shows running. Well, this is the 4th year.
So. Right, but look how many we have going in the last 2 years.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So there's a lawsuit because Allstate used Gas Buddy and other apps to quietly track driving behavior, and that informed them about insurance, so they could charge, not based on the fact...
So if you're like a bad driver or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily because you got in an accident. It's that you were risky, and they were evaluating the risk. So Texas has sued insurance provider Allstate, alleging that the firm and its data broker subsidiary use data from apps like Gas Buddy, Routely, and Life360 to quietly track drivers and adjust or cancel their policies because, well, if you drive too risky, then you might get into an accident. Not that you do, but you might. And thus,
right. Well, and that's what they don't want, right?
Yep. So Allstate and Arity, a mobility data and analytics firm founded by Allstate in 2016, collected trillions of miles worth of location data from more than 45 million people and then used that data to adjust rates according to a Texas lawsuit. And that violates Texas's Data Privacy and Security Act, which requires clear notice and informed consent on how collected data can be used. That is exactly what I want everywhere. I want everything that if it involves my data, I want informed consent.
Exactly.
But that's not what I get.
No, we get like maybe opt out or something at best.
And even then, there's no way to know that your data isn't being used. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. This lawsuit is being discussed over at arstechnica.com, and Kevin Purdy put the article together. The deck statement says, with connected cars and revenue-hungry apps, insurers are flush with data and money. Because we got another insurance-related thing that we're going to be talking about later on involving California homeowners. Allstate and Arity. Basically, Arity and others shared information with Allstate, and they adjusted it. According to the Texas complaint, The data collected included a phone's geolocation data, accelerometer data, magnetometer.
I think magnetometer, but I like
Magneto, as
meter.
in, the
That's
Marvel
yeah,
Magneto.
exactly.
Yeah. So magnetometer data, the gyroscope data, which I think is maybe it's accelerometer as well. I don't know. Usually they're all in one, but anyway, which monitors such details as the phone's altitude, longitude, latitude, bearing, GPS, time, speed, and accuracy. So with that data, plus in some cases data from collected or connected vehicles, Allstate could see when, how far, and how long someone was driving, along with hard braking events and whether a consumer picked up or opened their phone while traveling at certain speeds, according to the
Okay,
complaint.
that's getting beyond just, hey, we're tracking your driving. Like, it sounds like they're like, where did you go? Who did you
Yeah.
talk to? Like, why does your insurance company need to know all of that?
Yeah, and it didn't lower rates because you were.
It probably raised rates, right? Like, if you were a super careful driver, I guarantee you didn't get any benefit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there is this like good driver record kind of a thing, but I think it doesn't kick in for like 10 years or something, 7 years. I don't know. It doesn't really
Right,
matter.
and even if you're a really good driver and somebody runs into you, they probably start you back at zero.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, somebody else hits you, or I don't know, man. The simple fact that instead of them just going, here is the rate based on our costs associated with the average number of incidents in a given year or 10 years, whatever, they eke out more and more profit by raising the rates because somebody drives rough. I mean, I didn't get in an accident. Why should I have to pay more because I hit the brakes harder?
Exactly.
Maybe some
Yeah,
numbnuts in
maybe
front of me.
somebody hit the brakes hard in front of me and I just avoided an accident.
So it's so infuriating, but these are the times. It's been like that for years now. Wish you could see what I see. Let's move on. And if you want today's articles, you can actually hit !NSN in the Twitch chat, and Omatron will spit out the articles. Maybe not. What the heck? Why isn't it doing it?
It's protesting the insurance rates.
What is going on? Hold on, I'm sorry. Was I not in the chat? I just did it 3 times and Omatron is not spitting it out.
Might have to catch it in post.
Well, the show notes are already embedded in the show notes over on YouTube's description for the show and the live show. But let me do something real quick. We do this thing live, so let's do it live. Why not, right? If you have any questions or comments, throw them into the chat, and I'll be right with you. Okay. Well, we'll be right back with the show notes over on Twitch, but we're not shutting down or anything. I'm just rebooting Omatron. All right. Well, a man was arrested for raising $60 million for an AI startup, but spent it on luxurious lifestyle stuff. Pretty amazing. I don't know how people think that they can get away with this.
I don't either. I mean, most people putting money in things kind of expect something to come out of it, for one thing. Plus, usually if you're doing something like that, you might have actually, I don't know, filed somewhere that you're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you're being tracked from beginning to end. It's gonna come back and bite you on the butt. Your AI, well, somebody else's AI is going to find you. Okay, let's give this
And chomp
another
on
shot. There we go. Omatron was locked up. Oh, yeah. That's okay. Now I remember what happened. So, yeah, Omatron went a little crazy earlier today. So, the founder of the San Francisco-based startup called On Platform was arrested last week after prosecutors charged that he and his wife had blown millions of dollars worth of investor funds on real estate, jewelry, a Tesla, and even the social club that hosted their wedding. Prosecutors allege that the pair defrauded investors out of more than $60 million. So the founder and his lawyer, who he recently married, which if you want to violate your
Is
client,
that an active attorney?
yeah, if you want to violate your privilege and now everything is compromised because you're a defendant in a criminal case. Oof, that's how you do it. Talk about piercing the veil. Anyway, appeared in San Francisco court last week after they were charged with conspiracies to commit wire fraud, bank and securities fraud, and so on and so forth. So the article, wait. Okay, this is weird. They have this section called Scam GPT. Down here it says artificial intelligence fraud, generative AI hype. It's written by Victor Tangerman over at futurism.com. And it kind of spooked me that I thought maybe this was AI generated as well.
Oh, wow. Well, then that should be in RealityHacker.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. So the deck statement says, to our shock and horror, we discovered that in reality, the account balance in that bank was only 37 cents. It's supposed to be 60 million.
37 cents.
Yeah.
Maybe they had to have a balance to keep the account open or something. Like, why not take the rest of the 37 cents?
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, they probably rounded a check to a whole number. And
oh, I see. Right.
So it's particularly outlandish allegation of tech fraud, highlighting the ludicrous degree of buzz surrounding AI and the potential for greedy investors to get scammed as a result. But when you scam the wrong people, they come after you.
That is true. Particularly, I'm sorry, but if you scam somebody that has a lot of money, they're probably going to get bent out of shape. Everybody should get bent out of shape if they're scammed, but they may have resources to pursue it.
They apparently got $60 million at least. Beckman allegedly lied to investors about having $13 million in the bank, despite it actually only having $25.93. Bank statements also showed that Beckman wired a family member $320,000. Wow. So on platform, on its website, apparently it says that it's an industry-leading enterprise-grade conversational AI platform trusted by the world's leading brands in retail, sports, media, and entertainment. Anybody that invested in it should have been looking at the clients that they already have and asking.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't just go, oh, this company says it can do all these wonderful things.
Yeah, alarm bells were already ringing in July when GamesBeat, which might have to pay attention to them. Oh, it's part of VentureBeat. Reported that On, formerly known as Game On Technology, had laid off all of its 50 staff members after discovering that $11 million in cash was missing. At the time, Beckman resigned, with the remaining company executives telling shareholders in a letter what had happened. So,
I'm sure that was a fun letter to write.
Wow. Despite Beckman denying the allegations at the time, federal investigators say that they've since found that he and Lau spent $4.2 million on 2 San Francisco properties on top of his children's private school education. Oh, God. They have kids. Ugh.
Yeah, none of this is good.
In reality, Game On was generating very little, if any, revenue from many of these supposed top customers and was instead paying those entities significant fees for using their branded content. So they were upside down all over the place. Anyway, but in reality, Game On's annual revenue never exceeded $500,000. The company was never profitable, and Game On was losing millions of dollars every day. Unbelievable.
This is really interesting. Yeah, it's almost like nobody looked into anything along the way. And of course, every time they claimed, oh, we have so much money, which some of it was probably premised on the assertion that they had money to begin with, like it just kept building, right?
Yep. All they had to do was look. Let's keep going. The next article is over in WarCrafters. Why a 43-year-old video game just won a Grammy. In between showering Compton-born rapper Kendrick Lamar with gilded gramophones over the weekend, the Grammy Awards also crowned Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, as the show's third annual Best Score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media. The first ever Wizardry game introduced Dungeons & Dragons style role-playing to the Apple II in 1981, before being ported to several other PC models, home consoles, and even handhelds in the ensuing decades. Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord's legacy was further celebrated by developer Digital Eclipse with a 2023 remake featuring a complete 3D overhaul. So, Ian Walker over at Polygon put the article together. Winifred Phillips's work stands among the industry's best. I don't remember it. I haven't played anything Wizardry in so long.
Well, I mean, it's from 81.
Yeah, but if I heard it, I would definitely know it for sure. But I can't play it because I will end up getting DMCA'd. They say it's like a bright light just exploded in my head, a Giddy Phillips said during an on-camera interview conducted right after she was presented with her award. We do a very unique thing. We're creating music that needs to accompany people who are having an experience and who are making choices and having adventures and living a grand story. And we're kind of creating the music for that story. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
So veteran composer Winifred Phillips, God of War, Borderlands, had to build the remake score from scratch. The entire album is available for download on Boot Camp. Yeah, I'd play a snippet, but I know that I'll get flagged.
Yeah, and playing a music clip without the audio doesn't quite do it.
Yep. So before introducing a category specific to the medium in 2023, the Grammy Awards rarely acknowledge video games. Christopher Tin's Baba Yetu from Civilization 4 was the first piece of video game music to take home a Grammy in 2011. Cool. Yay. Well, congratulations.
I mean, this is cool too because of the bigger thing, right? Just getting video game recognition as something serious.
Yeah, I dig it. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. California homeowners hit with sudden 22% insurance rate increase. This is on top of the fact that they are going to get dinged for the fire's cost.
Right, but remember what we just saw? The rate increase was from, 5-7 years ago or something? So Think of all the wildfires that have happened since then.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago that the last wildfire impacted insurance rates, and Californians are going to get hit with the disparity between how much it cost and how much the insurance company, it wasn't insurance, the power company was going to pay. It's like a $5 billion fee. They're only paying $2.5 billion. So the other 3 or so is actually going to be pushed onto Californians. And now California homeowners are going to get hit with an insurance rate increase as the Golden State faces increasing levels of environmental disasters and wildfires. Many insurance companies have raised rates on homeowners. So Suzanne Blake over at Newsweek put the article together.
Well,
What's up?
And this is a rate increase based on whatever the rate is. So if the rate has already gone up, right? It's the thing you always talk about with percentages.
Yeah. If it's $20 and it goes up 100%, it's $40. If your insurance is $2,000 and it goes up 25%. Yeah.
Well, and if it already went up whatever percentage, it might be up whatever 50% or whatever it is in total.
Yeah. You got to look at the base, not just the percentage. If you're expecting to only pay a little bit, but 22%, more than 20% from State Farm following the devastating wildfires that devastated the southern part of the state last month. Again, this is insurance on top of the fees that they're going to have to pay because the power company actually sparked this. Well, then there was a spark from a power line.
Right, and these are the most, I think, they're in the top fires in terms of acreage. So that's the other thing. Even if one was X amount of money. These might be more, and of course, inflation, etc.
And insurance companies have left the area. So, State Farm General, California's largest home insurer, in a Monday letter sent to the California Department of Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, asked state insurance regulators to allow it to enact the immediate rate increase in order to avoid a dire situation, which basically is making everybody else pay for
Right,
these
it
fires.
is dire, but who are we thinking it's dire for?
The investors, obviously. And
Yeah, they're getting really harmed here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not going to be making as much money. So at the beginning of 2024, State Farm had $1 billion to pay out insurance holders' claims. And by February of this year, State Farm had to pay out more than $1 billion in claims just related to the Los Angeles wildfires. How much money is actually being made, though, by State Farm General, right?
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
So State Farm General covers 20% of all premiums in the Golden State, but in 2023 it reported a net loss of $880 million. The company's already ended offering new policies in California for more than a year and is looking to non-renew thousands of customers. Wow.
Well, right. I mean, the rate hikes are horrendous, but if they start dropping people from coverage, that's going to be a much more significant issue. And again, I know the rate hikes are going to be beyond what some people can pay already.
Yeah. I mean, how much of the... Okay, so if the insurance money was put into a pool and invested and payouts were made at the time there were incidents, instead of being divvied up and doled out to people as profit taking...
Right. Would any of this be necessary? I
Right.
mean, you'd think no. We don't know what the numbers look like, but conceptually,
Right.
this should prevent this.
Yeah. Because I mean, if most people are paying premiums, then why is it that... What's the purpose of insurance if when it's needed, it's gone?
Well, that's sometimes the joke, right? It's like, yeah, you can pay and pay and pay, but when you have a claim, oh my goodness, well,
But
we don't want you.
everybody benefits when the insurance is distributed over the
Right.
entire society, right?
Correct.
But then there are always people that go, well, I don't need insurance. I don't get sick. Yeah, until you do. And then you're the person that's upset that there's no insurance. Anyway, so they say what people are saying. Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara's office said in a statement, to protect millions of California consumers and the integrity of our residential property insurance market, the department will respond with urgency and transparency to recommend a course of action for Commissioner Lara. So
Yeah, I don't know about that, but okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to end up saying. Anyway, let's keep on going. Just reporting the news and giving a little bit of our opinion on it. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel.
All the news, none of the noise.
None of the noise, except the noise does come from me, mostly me. The sentient AI only throws in a tactical tidbit. So women speak 3,000 more words daily than men during midlife, study shows. That's why I titled this one, You Don't Say. So the stereotype that women are much more talkative than men is pervasive across many cultures, but a widely reported study by University of Arizona researchers in 2007 refuted the claim, finding that men and women speak roughly the same number of words per day, around 16,000. Alexis Blue from University of Arizona put the article together. It's over at phys.org. Well,
So wait a second. Does that mean as people are younger or older, they're ramping up or down their word use?
Yeah, I'm suspecting that's what's going on. So the work is published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. There is a strong cross-cultural assumption that women talk a lot more than men, said co-lead author or study author Colin Tidwell, a clinical psychology doctoral candidate at the U of A. We wanted to see whether or not this assumption holds when empirically tested. Researchers found that women aged between 25 and 65, the life stages of early and middle adulthood. 65 is middle adulthood?
I don't know about that. especially given people's longevity. I mean, it obviously varies based on when they were born and what
Yeah.
country they're in, but
How much lead they've imbibed.
it seems a little on the high end.
Yeah. 40, I would say, is the middle. 45, maybe? Push it to 50? Anyway, they spoke on average around 3,000 words, more words per day than male counterparts. Significant gender differences did not appear in the study's other age groups: adolescence, 10 to 17, emerging adulthood, 18 to 24, and older adulthood, 65 and up. So in the middle, early stages, it says, and middle adulthood, apparently. Right? So, interesting.
But that doesn't, some of that doesn't necessarily make sense either, like the adolescence and emerging adulthood. I mean,
Yeah, but they're
I
saying
know
that.
there are perceptions about when it just doesn't seem like it matches what people at least think, maybe not what is actually happening.
Well, they base this on data collected from 500 male and female study participants who wore a portable recording device dubbed the EAR, electronically activated recorder, that turns on at random intervals to capture snippets of daily conversations. Using those audio files, Meal developed estimates for the number of words spoken by a person per day, but they don't know what the gender was of the people.
Yeah, how does that work? Did they have like a different recorder or something for male or female participants so they could differentiate them? I mean, I don't know.
So this is the 2007 University of Arizona psychologist Matthias Mell tested the common assumption that women are more talkative than men by analyzing data collected from 500. That's different than this one, right? These are two different works, one in 2007, one in 2024.
Oh, you're right. And maybe this other one is building off of the earlier research.
Right. And the old one is saying that there was no significant gender difference because when he published the analysis, it revealed no gender difference. The provocative finding published in the journal Science made national headlines, but the study also invited criticism due to its limitations. Its participants were also entirely college-aged, and most lived in the same city, Austin, Texas. 18 years later, Meal and his collaborators, including Tidwell, Valeria Pfeiffer, a U of A psychology postdoctoral researcher, and Alexander Danvers, a former postdoctoral researcher at U of A, sought to replicate the original findings. They analyzed 630,000 ear recordings from 22 separate studies conducted in 4 countries, with participants ranging in age from 10 to 94. The study included 2,197 individuals, 4 times as many as the original study. So yeah, I mean, in a population of 500, I wouldn't particularly suspect you'd be able to discern a difference. Plus, it was a recording, so you couldn't even, there's some bias in there if you're, detecting gender.
If you start speaking and say one word and it records, for example, one word, but then the person says 15 words, and then the next person who's being recorded only says 3 words after that, or whatever it is, or is that being picked up or accounted for?
Yeah. So the researchers don't know for sure why women are the more talkative gender during the early 40-year stretch between 25 and 60, the nearly 40-year stretch. But they say that one possibility is that those tend to be child-rearing years, and women who often assume the role of primary caregiver might be speaking more than men to their children during that time. But then you should be able to detect that in the context of what's being spoken matters. So you should be able to say. True,
but is that really accounting for child rearing? For example, between 40 something and 64, maybe not. I mean,
really? Don't most people have their kids earlier than 40?
That's what I'm saying. But they're accounting for a 40-year stretch as perhaps attached to that, but I'm not sure that matches when people are doing child rearing.
Yeah, I mean, probably between 20 or 18 and 40. I mean, even 30 is right. That's like the cusp of where you're
Right,
supposed to
but then you
have.
got to account for however long, like maybe a younger child or whatever it is. But anyway, my point is like maybe half of this doesn't account for that.
Right. Yeah. I think that they need to do a deeper dive in the words that are being spoken, because then they know the context of what's actually being said. Otherwise, just talking, it could be anything.
I mean, I do find this interesting, but I think it needs further study and larger samples.
Yeah, and they definitely need to look at the context of the words that are being said.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, I can tell you that this mayor talks a hell of a lot more than pretty well most people, I'd say. I mean, I talk all day long. People,
Maybe they should study you and see if that disrupts all of their study results.
of course, earlier today I was in a meeting, and it was intimated to me that another person that was in the room never shuts up. So,
Well, I mean, at least in reference, that means that maybe that didn't apply to you.
it didn't apply to me. So, of course, I left, and I don't know what anybody else was saying after that. So, anyway,
Well,
let's
they
keep
were
on going.
probably still there listening to the other person talk.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I get a text later on. They're still talking. All right. So the next article is over on the Marvel channel. Hidden images in Jackson Pollock paintings may have been intentional, argues a study. According to a new research published by psychiatry professor Stephen M. Stahl, artist Jackson Pollock clearly incorporated images into his pre-drip paintings and repeatedly used those images in multiple drip paintings, potentially as a result of extraordinary spatial skills related to his bipolar disorder. So, Cambridge
Which I
University
didn't
Press.
know, but that perhaps makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know either. The article is published over at phys.org by Cambridge University Press. The findings appear in a research paper published in CNS Spectrums. The paper emphasizes that Pollock met the diagnostic criteria for bipolar disorder, that he didn't paint when he was intoxicated or depressed, and that he both had extensive exposure to Rorschach inkblot tests during his psychiatric treatment and had visual images and hallucinations of images. Interesting. I never really read about Pollock. I just liked the paintings. So, Dr. Stahl, currently a professor at the University of California, San Diego, argues that Pollock either consciously or unconsciously encrypted images in his paintings to tell a story. I wish that that is not a
Wouldn't
Pollock.
it be nice if they would show a painting?
That would be nice. That would be really nice. I don't know. Maybe you can look one up and go, oh yeah. Although Pollock was invariably diagnosed by a psychiatrist as having alcoholic psychosis, being schizoid, or possessing a schizophrenia-like disorder characterized by alternating periods of violent agitation and paralysis or withdrawal, that would be bipolar. Oh, and they say here in the article, in today's world, he would more likely be diagnosed as bipolar. Chronic and severe mental illness, such as bipolar disorder, can be associated with creativity and genius, with good outcomes possible, especially with effective treatment. So, yeah. Anyway, seeing an image once in a drip painting could be random. Seeing the same image twice in different paintings could be coincidence. Seeing it 3 or more times could just be a permanent hallucination in your head. But if everybody else sees it, yeah. So they say here, as is the case for booze bottles, monkeys, gorillas, elephants, and many other subjects and objects in Pollock's paintings, makes those images more unlikely to be randomly provoked perceptions without any bias in reality. I don't know. Musicians reuse lyrics in their songs all the time, and it's a mechanic of their lyric, right? Like their processes for their music. Maybe Pollock just liked, monkeys and gorillas, elephants and certain other subjects. I mean, he apparently liked booze, but didn't, create while he was drunk.
Absolutely. I was going to say you can find a listing of current exhibitions around the world at a site called mutualart.com. And apparently there are 6 worldwide exhibitions.
So is it just mutualart.com?
Yes, it is.
Mutualart.com. Okay, I threw it into the chat. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Mysterious chirping waves detected 100,000 miles above Earth are surprising scientists. Chorus waves, quick bursts of energy known to occur relatively close to Earth and around other planets, were found in an unexpected part of the magnetosphere, according to a study. So Sarah Hashemi over at SmithsonianMag.com put the article together, Smithsonian Magazine. The deck statement is the one that I just said, but until now, these waves were observed to occur close to Earth, around 32,000 miles away, but using NASA's magnetospheric multi-scale mission, researchers found chorus waves at much more distant locations, placing them in an area that challenges the existing theory on how these perturbations are produced. The findings were published in the journal Nature in January. They say there are no actual chirping noises being heard in space, since space is a vacuum that doesn't transmit sound. Chorus waves instead earn their name because they sound like birdsong when converted to audio signals. They've been picked up since the late 60s by the Halley Research Station in Antarctica. NASA has also detected the waves with its Van Allen probes, which measure the radiation belts surrounding our planet. So,
maybe this is birds in space.
I'm going to try and play this. I don't know if I'll be able to. Okay, hold on. Let me pause that.
Okay, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can hear that. The way that this all transacts is kind of weird. So we'll just link you to the article. It's the one that's already in chat that says Mysterious Chirping Waves. And you can click on that link and check it out. It goes through ohmTown and over to Smithsonian Mag. See, we only aggregate this little bit here, enough to tease us into going over and reading that and listening to it. So go over and check it all out. Seems pretty cool. The leading idea suggests that these waves are caused by plasma instability, ionized gas that's outside its equilibrium state. So I guess it's giving off some energy and dropping back down. It's vibrating. Yeah.
Which explains the kind of looping nature of the sound.
This disturbance can lead electrons to behave chaotically, spiraling along Earth's magnetic field lines and producing radiation that interacts with other electrons. The resulting chorus waves travel along the curved magnetic field from pole to pole, creating their chirp as they go. So they're kind of flowing along. But these newly detected waves were found in a strongly stretched, relatively flat and distant region of the magnetosphere, pointing to another possible reason for the occurrence. Instead, they could be produced by changes in frequency across the magnetic field, per Scientific American. Experts aren't ruling out the original theory entirely, but the new paper suggests a need for more research. You can't research without funding, so you got to come up with another reason to keep on getting funded.
That's right.
So I'm always fascinated by this kind of fundamental research, because eventually we're going to find some way that we can more effectively and efficiently transfer energy from one place to another, instead of doing something like nuclear, which is nothing more than heating up water and turning a turbine. And it's one of the things that I'm really tempted to do, is take videos that I've seen that are really elaborate and going into great detail, and then just answering them succinctly, quickly, unlike this show. You want to keep going?
Sure. You're trying to disrupt that word study.
Yes. I'm going to flatline that thing for everybody. Some type of really brief. Oh, yeah. I'll call it showing you my briefs. No?
Whoa.
Okay. Anyway, non sequitur news is where the next article is. Audi will try to make its model names make more sense. Maybe not follow the Sony model of naming.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they're going more toward FedEx.
Yeah, there you go. Audi's launching a new global nomenclature system for its vehicles to more closely represent a vehicle's type, size, shape, and powertrain. All right. The updated system will begin with the letter A for low floor vehicles, or Q for high floor ones.
How about H?
Yeah.
Or L or whatever.
Low floor. LF.
Or even B or whatever.
LF for low floor, HF for high floor, but that's not pretty, right? It's not really.
I'd like a LF 3000 or whatever.
Yep. That will be followed by numbers 1 through 8 that help represent the size or classification of the vehicle. However, Audi says it will no longer use odd or even numbers to represent what powertrain technologies it uses.
Well, before that part, I thought it was going to kind of model like Mazda numbering, but maybe not.
Interesting. So Umar Shakir put the article together. Audi is going back to A1 through 8 and Q1 through 8. So, okay. Interesting. Look at the color. The color range is spectacular. Look at the two offerings that they're having out there.
They're the same color.
It's almost the same color as the ground they're driving on. So
yes, we're
sexy.
not going for high contrast.
So sexy. Look at that. So flashy. It's outlandish. The article is posted over at theverge.com by Umar Shakir. Then comes the body style, which includes Avant, sedan, or Sportback, where applicable, of course. Duh.
Now, I don't know about you. I definitely know an Avant when I see one.
Yeah. That's no Avant. That's a sedan. Duh. So finally, Audi will add to the end a powertrain code, including TFSI, or for Turbo Fuel Stratified Injection Combustion Engine, or TFSI-E, a plug-in hybrid, and e-tron, all electric. The system also replaces Audi's 2-digit power output representation, which really made things confusing. So now you'll have names like the A6 Avant TFSI or the A6 Sedan e-tron. Sure. Nothing else I can say about this.
No, I can't either. Following Sony, right?
The color range. It's amazing. Next article is over in Smack Talk, which is all about Apple, and doesn't really get all that highlighted of late. So
no, we just I don't know. We've had some in previous shows, but it seems like recently not.
Just nothing amazing, right? Yeah. I mean, we almost have to talk about the competitors in relation to Apple just so that we can get that smack part in there. But it's almost all a giant shade of gray. So Apple, like Audi, Apple has officially launched the 2025 Swift Student Challenge. Just as it did in 2024, Apple will select 350 winners in total and recognize 50 of them. All the rest of them will be labeled losers. Just kidding. That's not what will happen. Anyway, 50 will be recognized as distinguished winners. The other 200 or 300 will be undistinguished losers.
Oh, that's not very nice.
That's not what it says.
Particularly for students.
Yeah, that's not what it says. But 50 will be distinguished winners for their outstanding submissions. Distinguished winners will need to demonstrate excellence in innovation, creativity. Innovation, creativity? Excellence in innovation, creativity? Or should there be an extra comma there?
Yeah, maybe comma.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, no, it looks like they're using it as one thing, but okay.
Yeah. Innovation, creativity? Okay, well, anyway, excellence in innovation, creativity, social impact, or inclusivity. All 350 challenge winners will receive a year membership in the Apple Developer Program, which is $100, a complimentary voucher to take the App Development with Swift certification exam, and a special gift from Apple. Pretty cool. So the article is sourced from appleinsider.com AI. Amber Neely put the article together. Go.
So you're right. There are actually 4 categories. There should have been a comma.
Gotcha. Yeah, didn't quite make sense to me. Let's see if they actually fixed it in here. Nope, innovation, creativity. So let's see here. Distinguished winners will be rewarded with a 3-day visit to Apple Park in Cupertino. Only the distinguished ones, only the 50. The trip includes travel, lodging, time with Apple engineers, and a host of unforgettable experiences. Yay. 3 winners of the 2024 Swift Student Challenge went on to be profiled by Apple. Those must have been the swiftiest
of the Swift.
That's right. Let's go on to the last article for today's show. Bacteria can eat forever chemicals. But then what? Bacteria have to toot something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what happens then. Do they just contain them?
I don't know. So I guess they break it down into something else. In the quest to take the forever out of forever chemicals, bacteria might be our ally, or they're going to gain function and kill us all. Most remediation of per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFASs, involves absorbing and trapping them, but certain microbes can actually break apart the strong chemical bonds that allow these chemicals to persist for so long in the environment. Now researchers have identified a strain of bacteria that can break down and transform at least 3 types of PFAS, and perhaps even more crucially, some of the toxic byproducts of the bond breaking process. That's what I was talking about.
That's exactly it.
So the article has a picture of Pac-Man eating what are the white balls in Pac-Man? What are they?
Like, I don't know what they're called officially. It seems like they're like pellets or something, but that's not what they are.
Yeah, I wonder what they actually are. Anyway, it was posted by University of Buffalo. Bacteria can eat forever chemicals. It's posted over at futurity.org, and my eyeball is itching right now. I'm sure that's psychosomatic from the article. Sorry about that, everybody. Anyway, published in the Science of the Total Environment, the new study found that Labris portocalensis F11 metabolized over 90% of perfluorooctane sulfonic acid, or PFOS, following an exposure period of 100 days. So it gobbled up 90% of the 100-day exposure. PFOS.
Whoa, we need to unleash that, of course, then we might have other problems.
Bad bat, kind of. That might pose a problem, but anyway, PFOS is one of the most frequently detected and persistent types of PFAS and was designated hazardous by the US EPA. The F11 bacteria also broke down a substantial portion of 2 additional types of PFAS after 100 days. 58% of 5,3-fluorotelomere I'm getting tied up here. Carboxylic, yeah, right? Why do I have a hard time saying that? Carboxylic acid?
Because it's an odd word.
And 21% of 6,2-fluorotelomere sulfonate. So the bond between carbon and fluorine atoms in PFAS is very strong. So most microbes cannot use it as an energy source. The F11 bacterial strain developed the ability to chop away the fluorine and eat the carbon, says corresponding author Diana Aga, a professor and chair at the chemistry department at the University of Buffalo and director of the UB Renew Institute. So, yeah. They talk about what PFAS is in greater detail, talk about the study. F11 was isolated from the soil of a contaminated industrial site in Portugal and had previously demonstrated the ability to strip fluorine from pharmaceutical contaminants. However, it had never been tested on PFAS. So there's a bacterial strain from an industrial site in Portugal
What could go wrong?
Yeah, nothing. It'll never get let loose in a wet market. So we want to investigate the impact of placing alternative carbon sources alongside the PFAS. However, if that carbon source is too abundant and easy to degrade, the bacteria may not need to touch the PFAS at all. So we need to give F11 colonies enough food to grow, but not enough food that they lose the incentive to convert PFAS into a usable energy source. That's right. Make them work for it. Bioaugmentation is a promising method that has not yet been explored for PFAS remediation in the environment.
PFAS is a significant problem, and PFOA and PFOS and all of those. So I'm excited about this, but I know they need to do more to actually start applying it commercially.
Yeah, I just kind of, I feel like there's going to be a bad bat scenario here. So with that in mind, we are going to call it a night, and I'm going to waka my way back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen, sign up or sign in. You can actually submit articles. You can select them and send them to us. If we miss something, maybe you'll see it, and we can evaluate it and include it in the rundown. Monday through Friday, we do Non Sequitur news, 10 articles, about an hour-long show. Saturday and Sunday, we do 3 unique shows on Saturday, 3 unique shows on Sunday, and on each of those days, we combine the 3 to make the Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. Hope you go over and subscribe to the podcast. There's 7 different podcasts, Non Sequitur News being the oldest. This is now the 4th season of it. 1,800 episodes of videos over on YouTube. Only 60 days here on Twitch. So be sure to like and subscribe. I know it's not gaming, but we do have a gaming show, and that's on the weekends. But we're always talking about a little of everything. I mean, yeah, just come and hang out with us, okay? That'd be great. I'm Mayor Watt. I'm saying bye, and I'm taking the AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode. And don't forget to watch our replay and subscribe.
That's right. Hey, we're growing pretty fast, everybody. Woo. Be sure to download the podcast, though. That's important. Bye-bye. Oh, there's a Discord. Bunch of other stuff.